And that's because of the incredible stuff that's happening with semiconductors. And again, we've talked about this in other videos. It's a big theme for the markets. It's a big theme for the region. So export growth is up, 50%. Export prices are up 100%, 150%. Like all of this stuff because of semiconductors. It's a very big deal in terms of economies like Taiwan and Korea, where the chip industry is such a big part of the overall economy. So it matters for growth, but it also matters for inflation. And again, the reason for that, there's two reasons, in fact. One is a similar cost push argument, which is the same as on the energy side. And that is that semiconductors are a key input in lots of different products across the supply chain. And so pretty much every electronics product you buy has a semiconductor in it. Therefore, as semiconductor prices rise, and as this chart shows, semiconductor prices have been rising a lot. As that happens, it's going to push up prices across the supply chain. And actually, this has already been seen in Asia specifically. So if we look at, and the Bank of Korea started talking about this in its monetary policy reports back in February, that because of the increase in semiconductor prices, it's actually an inflationary risk for Korea itself. And we can see that in the CPI data that Korea is now producing, which show that the price of computers is rising by about 15% year on year, which is the highest increase that's ever been seen on record. And if we look at Taiwan, the data is not quite as high. And I think that's partly because there's less exchange rate depreciation in Taiwan. But in Taiwan also, relative to history, prices of computers for consumers are now rising more quickly than ever. And this is only at the beginning of this process, right? Like semiconductor prices have risen much more than 15%. It looks highly likely that computer prices are going to rise further from here. Well, that's important for the region. The same thing is going to be true in the rest of the world. The reason for that is because of this chart, right? Like this is looking at export prices for machinery and electronics equipment coming from Taiwan and Korea. So a bit like CPI domestically, these are increasing at record high rates. This kind of inflation in export prices from the world's biggest producer of electronics has never been seen before over the course of the last 25 years or so. So again, this isn't just an inflationary hit for Asia, it's also an inflationary hit for the rest of the world. And if we look at something like PPI for computer manufacturing in the US, that's also being seen in an increase there. So it's already beginning to be seen in the supply chain. And so it is something which I think is a macro issue, not just for Asia, but also for the rest of the world.